Hello and a very warm welcome. I have with me a special guest today, the President of Suriname, Chandrikapersad Santokhi. Many thanks, sir, for speaking with NDTV. My first question is with regards to the Voice of the Global South Summit, an initiative taken by India. You were present there as well. You spoke at that summit. How do you see this initiative? And do you think India is in a very good position at the moment as the president of G20 to channel the voices of the Global South?
Yes. Let me express this in this way, that with the presidency of India as chair of the G20, and now that position exercised by the Prime Minister Modi, it's very important that he should be the voice, not only for the G20 members who have a seat already at the table, but for so many other countries which don't have a seat and don't have a voice. And I think that the Prime Minister Narendra Modi had initiated a very good strategy to include all of us, to include the entire world with one planet, one family and one future. And to implement that philosophy, you need to include all of them. And this is one of the instruments, this Global South Summit, where you can get the ideas, the views, the recommendations from the other heads and leaders, because there are problems in the world. There are global problems and global challenges which need to be addressed collectively. And therefore, you need also the unity in that agenda. And that unity in the agenda, you can get such kind of summits where people, where heads, where leaders are providing on behalf of their country, on behalf of their people, their issues, as the role of the Prime Minister to collect all these views and all these ideas and to bring it to the G20 as the leader for the entire world.
And that takes us to the next question with regards to a voice for a country like India itself at platforms like the United Nations Security Council. India has just concluded its non-permanent membership. For the last 2 years, India was a non-permanent member. Do you think India is a rightful claimant to a permanent seat as well? And are reforms in the UN important?
Well, two questions. Firstly, the position of India in the Security Council. Yes, my country will support that. And that has been expressed already. And that I had informed also the Prime Minister Modi. And we are doing that on the basis of several arguments. One is that India has shown the world its capacity, its strength in the area of peaceful settlements of issues. India has shown the world that's the largest democracy. But also in the area of leadership, that we have seen that India is always historically following the path of peace and dialogue. And at this time, where we do have turmoil in the world, where we do have conflicts, you have to look for such a leader. But moreover, where we see a decline of the economy in a lot of countries as the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic, but also as the impact of the war in Ukraine, that a lot of countries are getting setbacks. My country too, India too. But despite that, you will see that there is a growth of the economy. And that is based also on good governance, good government, strong leadership. And I think that Prime Minister Modi is the right man for this period to take the lead and to lead the world to a safer planet.
In your conversation with Prime Minister Modi, there was talk about restructuring of the debts as far as the lines of credits are concerned to Suriname. Do you think this is a step in the right direction, considering that we are seeing, and you're talking about economies as well globally, we are seeing a lot of countries getting caught in a debt trap?
Well, my view as a leader of a country, as a president, is that you need to guarantee first a good governance based on the principle of democracy, rule of law, and maintaining, as a father of a nation, also a good economy based on your income and your expenditure. And you know what the people you have, you know what the production capacity is, you know what the export is, you know what the import is. So based on that, you need to design a strategy to keep the economy in balance and to keep also your debt position within the international ratio, and that is 60% of the GDP. Well, I just took over a country, my beloved country, as the new president. And I took over also an inheritance of $4 billion debt. And that is very complex, very complicated. You have to pay back, that's our principle. You have to pay back all the creditors, the commercial creditors, the bilateral creditors, those concessional creditors, and we'll pay back. However, if you don't have the money to pay, on one hand, and the other hand, you're confronted with so many crises, from COVID, from financial burden, from debt crisis, from the Ukraine war, then you should call for international support and to start with dialogue and negotiations with all the creditors to reach a settlement that you will pay, my government will pay, my country will pay. However, at this time period, I need some space, some breathing air, and based on that, that you should negotiate what the conditions will be for the debt restructuring. However, that liberty is limited because of the IMF program we are implementing. And every solution, what you will find with your creditors, should fit in the framework of also the IMF. And we negotiated with India, with my presence here, and also with the meeting and the talks, and also the justification what we have presented for the debt restructuring. We found also a voice from India, and that voice is coming from the government that India will cooperate in reaching that debt restructuring with Suriname, and that's the best news and the best result I got during my stay over here. And why I told you this story, because with this story I'm telling you also that we are not a government with an agenda to ruin the country, to ruin the economy. My mandate is to recover the economy, to bring back prosperity. Because all the money what a government is borrowing, that money should be paid back by the people. And that is creating a lot of burden. And that is what we don't want as new administration. But we took it over, we inherited, and we look for a solution. And the world is supporting us, India is supporting us. And I'm taking this opportunity once again to express my sincere thanks to the government of India.
Maritime cooperation was also discussed with the Prime Minister. What can we look forward to in this sector between the two?
Well, to have a better understanding on that maritime security, it's good to know where we are situated and positioned. In the northeast of South America, between Guyana, French Guyana, South Brazil, and the north, a huge area of the Atlantic Ocean. Our maritime zone is larger than our continental territory. And if you see how many measures we are taking, how many actions we are taking to create security on the mainland, and to compare what we are doing in the maritime zone, then it's one conclusion that we are not doing enough. And that's for a simple reason. We don't have the capacity. And we agree with my neighboring country, Guyana, with also the president of Guyana, Irfan Ali, that based on the lack of capacity, resources, that we have to cooperate. And India is a partner. And together we have to ask for their support from the government of India, because with the modern technology, you can create a system to control and to monitor your maritime zone jointly. And if we do it together, the costs will be reduced, the costs will be shared. And this is one of the arrangements we made, because in that maritime zone, we don't have only oil and gas as exploration and exploitation, which need to be safeguarded and protected, but you have the blue economy with a lot of other resources, but also based on the principle of protecting your sovereignty, your territorial integrity. It is good that U.S. government are having total control of your own territory, and India is willing to cooperate with us, and this will get a follow-up when we're back home.
It's been almost 50 years of diplomatic ties between India and Suriname. Do you think that the ties have grown satisfactorily, or there is a lot more scope for growth? And does personal bonding between leaders, personal bonhomie, so to speak, does that also help in enhancing relations?
I think that what our experience is based on many events, what we had in the recent past by bringing the diaspora together. I came also in India as a member of parliament with all the other members of parliament in the world of persons of Indian origin. And just a couple of days ago, we experienced that again in Indore, where we had that Pravasi Bharatiya Divas with all the diaspora people. It's a gathering of not only people of diaspora origin, it's a gathering of knowledge, it's a gathering of vision, it's a gathering of commitment, it's a gathering also of spirituality, it's a gathering of values and norms. And those are the cornerstones we need in the world. Those are the cornerstones we need in all the countries to build a country. And that we can do by having stronger cooperation, that you should have also cooperation in all areas of development. And that is what we have agreed, to have a comprehensive strategy to assist each other. India has a lot of capacity. Based on that capacity, India can support also other diaspora nations. That was my call also in my statement. But on the other side, we do have diaspora people. And you are also witnessing every day. You call a company, a high standard company, ICT, finance, medical sector, Indians are there. And the question is how we can benefit. And those meetings, like the diaspora meeting, are instrumental to share views and to design strategies to make optimal use of this wealth of knowledge to benefit of the people who are living in the diaspora nations. And I sure believe that there will be also implementation of those views which were discussed during that Pravasi Bharatiya Divas.
Any specific sectors you feel that the two countries can enhance their engagement?
Oh, sure. Don't underestimate what is happening with India. We're looking from the outside world and we see an emerging economy. We see India growing as a world leader, as a world economy, but also leading in several sectors like the ICT sector, like the health sector, like the agriculture sector, but also in the space sector. So what you need to do is, based on the strength of India, and to look also the capacity side of your own country, where it should be a low-hanging fruit to call on India to ask for the technical assistance, ask for cooperation from the public sector or the private sector. In my country is sure the health sector, where we need the technical assistance. The agriculture sector is very important for the food security, but also the impact of the climate change. We went to a lot of companies like the Reliance, which is very modern company in expressing the transition of the fossil energy towards renewable in a friendly environment, but also good fuel. And those kind of things we need for the world to save the planet. And there we ask India also to support us. You mentioned already the assistance in the security. We ask also cooperation to intensify the cooperation in the area of defense. That's very important for my country. Well, those are the areas which we have identified on the level of government. But meanwhile, I spoke with a lot of private companies and invited them also to come to Suriname, because we need their support, we need their assistance, we need their investment, we need their also cooperation with the local private sector. So with my visitor, with the meetings here, that will be the game changer in the cooperation between Suriname and India. That cooperation will be lifted to a higher level, on the level of President and the Prime Minister, with their under the umbrella strategy of ministers and sectors, where the public and private sector will meet jointly to cooperate with my public and private sector in Suriname. And I sure believe that that will enable also my country to get that development what we want for our people.
So I want to talk a little bit about soft diplomacy as well. Yoga, Ayurveda, a lot of these elements. Do you think they also bring people together?
Sure. And my message was, and I was very attracted, let me use that, very attracted with the view of Prime Minister Modiji on that Amrit Kal, what he has expressed for the Indian community and all the states in India and all the people of India, and that we are supporting. It's a very bright view. But my suggestion was, if we can extend that also to the diaspora nations, and that Amrit Kal can be a new time period for us. Because when we look where we're situated and where we're located in the north of South America and part of the Caribbean, why not bring a regional Ayurvedic center over there to function as a hub toward the other countries? Why not bring an education training center for the Hindi language? And based on all the talented young people, I am observing them every day, because we are having also the program on You Have Talent, You Got Talent. And I'm seeing them, why they cannot get the opportunity to go into that film academy and get access to Bollywood? Why Bollywood cannot have a section over there with all the beauties, with all the infrastructure, with all the natural system, to design their cast, to use their diaspora people as their actors and actresses? Well, those are the things you need to utilize very pragmatically, and my country is willing to host. And I believe that that is bringing more contact between people to people, but also giving people the opportunity to get access to those desired markets, what they want to access. And I think, yes, that will bring also prosperity to young people.
On that very positive note, many thanks, President, for speaking with us.
Yes, thank you very much, and next time I'll sing for you.
Absolutely, we look forward. Thank you.
Thank you.